What's up, guys? Dr. Ryan here with another episode of Smashing Wealth. In this episode, we're going to talk about the finances of Zomedica and whether they have enough money to execute successfully on their Truforma platform. I'm also going to discuss if the current share price of ZOM is justified or if it's wildly inflated, as some skeptics may have you believe. We're going to discuss what veterinarians have to say about Zomedica and if it's worth real consideration on this Zom stock forecast. We will also take a deep dive into the recent Zom stock news about Zomedica stock concerning its future potential revenue and how it relates to future Zom stock predictions. By the end of this video, I will share my Zomedica price prediction for the end of this month with you. With this information, you'll be in a better position to determine if you should load up on Zom stock or wait for a better share price or even take profits. This way, you will be able to better maximize your overall profits and absolutely smash it in the market. As always, this video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Full disclaimer in the description below. So let's get into it. Just FYI, I timestamped each part of this video, so if you feel like jumping around, just go ahead and click to the description part of this video and jump to the part you like. Let's go ahead and jump into this price chart. So you see right now we're trading at $2.12 with Zomedica stock. And what's really interesting is if you look at the 5-day view and you look where we were a week ago, we were also trading at $2.12, which basically means that for the whole week, we really haven't gone anywhere. Now, if we look at what happened today, it looks like we opened at $2.16 and we went all the way down to $2.12 where we ended at today. And then in post-market, it looks like it started trending upwards once again. Now let's go ahead and jump into this article. Zomedica looks like it will be a winner once its veterinarian office lab testing product launches on March 30th. Zom stock's already up 850% so far this year. In fact, it's peaked at $2.70 in early February in anticipation of its product launch. Moreover, the company's been very smart about taking advantage of its huge price spike. On February 8th, it raised another $185 million. In fact, as of February 26th, Zomedica had an astounding $277 million in cash on its balance sheet based on an 8K filing. Now, this is really interesting because what Zomedica is doing is taking advantage of the recent run-up in price. Through January going into February, there's been a dramatic increase in price. And Zomedica has actually took advantage of that because it understands that it needs finances, it needs money to move forward and to make sure and back up that Truforma launch. So it's actually been selling shares and raising the company's bank account. Now, look at this. It's compared to its balance sheet a year ago at the end of 2019. It had just over $500,000 in cash. Now, we're looking at 2019, $500,000 in cash. And now we're talking about $277 million on its balance sheet. And we're talking about no revenue has even come into the company yet. And it's grown from $500,000 to $277 million. This is a dramatic rise in the amount of cash that it has on the books. Now, this part is really key. It says, moreover, the company said that just $90 million would be sufficient to fund operations through 2023. At this point, Zomedica feels that it will be free cash flow positive. Now, this is really interesting because if you think about $90 million and it's going to be able to last another 2 years, we're talking about a company with longevity here. Because if just $90 million will last another 2 years, and they have over here, it says $277 million on the books, we're talking about a 3 times multiple. So we're talking about a company that can go the next 6 years if they don't bring in another dime of revenue into the company. This company can last another 6 years of growth and development, even if not a dime is brought into the company through the Truforma launch. And we know that's not going to happen. And now it says this is for a company with no revenue and only prospects of this happening. This is when Zomedica launches Truforma, its new pet diagnostic in-house lab for veterinarians, on March 30th. What we've all been waiting for is the launch of Truforma. We all know it's coming out at the end of this month. We believe that it's going to be a tremendous success, bring in a lot of revenue for the company and cause the share price to go through the roof. Now, even without revenue, what this is telling us is that this company will have longevity to really keep going through the hurdles, because a lot of companies fail not because they don't have a great idea or a great product or a great service. A lot of companies fail because they don't have the funding to get them through those hurdles, to get the marketing out there, to get the systems in place, to be able to provide a foundation. And what we have here with Zomedica is we have really strong funding. We have a really strong foundation going forward. Now it says here that now the company has plenty of cash, it could step up its launch and marketing efforts in relation to the launch of Truforma in the US. This should help it have a successful kickoff. Truforma is a lab testing product that veterinarians can use in their office as opposed to sending it out to a lab for testing. It's only for dogs and cats who have issues with their stomachs or glands. Now this is really interesting because what we're talking about here is a point of care product. Normally, the way lab tests are done for pets like dogs and cats is you take a test, you have to send it out to a lab. The lab takes a few days, then the results come back to the veterinarian. Now we're talking about the veterinarians can literally do this test in their office, get the results back almost immediately, and be able to diagnose what's going on with this pet. Now, this is going to provide a competitive advantage to veterinarians that use this, because you have to take into account the veterinarians compete against each other. So if a pet owner has a choice of going to someone who's able to diagnose their pet's condition in office, and it's not going to take them a few days to do it, and it's known, that person's going to have a competitive edge against a veterinarian who needs to send out lab results and needs to wait days for those test results to come back in order to be able to make an informed decision on the care for that pet going forward. And what's going to end up happening is veterinarians that have that positive word of mouth are really, their business is going to take off. And you're going to see a competitive edge given to veterinarians who go ahead and use Truforma. Now it says, recently, a veterinarian wrote an article in Seeking Alpha explaining the significance of the Truforma device, that if successful, if it does what it says it's going to do, it will literally allow pet owners to get an immediate course of treatment for their pets. This is going to be very popular with these owners and will generate large amounts of goodwill and, of course, revenue streams for the veterinarian practice. So this is going to win twofold. You're going to see veterinarian practices really start to have that goodwill, have that positive feedback, that good word of mouth, and their practices start to elevate and grow rapidly. And you're also talking about on the side of Truforma, on the side of Zomedica, you're talking about a company's revenue going through the roof simultaneously. So it's a win-win situation. Now it says, moreover, Zomedica announced that it signed a distributor deal with Miller Veterinarian Supply. Miller will represent Zomedica from Texas to Maine. This will allow Zomedica to get Truforma out to a large number of veterinarian practices fairly quickly. Now, this is important because they have a really big distributor here, really well known, Miller Veterinarian Supply, that's going to be able to get this product and get it pushed out there and get it into different veterinarian practices. But more important than getting it out there is the way they're going about doing it. Because it says Zomedica will implement a controlled release of Truforma in at least 3 assays in a limited geographic area in order to test its distribution system. A lot of times companies fail because they expand too fast and they want to get out there and they want to get in all the stores, but they don't do it right. Now, what I'm seeing here with Zomedica is they're doing a controlled release. They're really doing it very carefully. They want to make sure that this rollout really is effortless and goes smoothly. And you'll see here that it's done in 3 assays in a limited geographic area. So they're not trying to spread all over the US immediately. What they're trying to do is tackle a specific geographic area, execute, do well, and then come back for more, test to see what works, and then they go ahead and they can expand to other areas and implement what works. Now it says over time, it will cover 5 different assay tests for dogs and cats with gastro-emergency issues. However, following that, the company has plans on expanding its ability to issue a family of other assays to test other emergency type conditions. Now this is really interesting because it's all about distribution. So if you have veterinarians using this one test for their emergency gastro issues, and now you come out with another test for a different issue, and then another test and another test, what ends up happening is it starts compounding. And veterinarians know they could rely on Zomedica for a specific product and it works well. And they're more likely to go out and get their future products as they roll out. So what you'll see end up happening is this rolling of the revenue and exponential growth of the company as they release more and more products, and the same veterinarians adopt and start to use and implement in their practices those products. Now it says the Seeking Alpha article from the veterinarians point out one huge risk. There's no data yet of whether Truforma instrument will provide statistically significant results that work. Nevertheless, it will be the first point-of-care instrument that could test the pancreas and proximal and distal small intestine for dogs and cats that are in distress. Now, this is key because this is really new to the game, being one of the first point-of-care instruments that can go ahead and do these tests. The huge risk, of course, is that Truforma doesn't work as effectively as we hope it might. And only time will tell whether this product will live up to expectations. Now, this article starts to dive into the market projections and then really correlating that back to the valuation that Zomedica has on its current shares. It says Zomedica refers to an article in its most recent 10-K filing that the animal diagnostics market is projected to reach $2.8 billion just by 2024 from the $1.7 billion it was in 2019. They also refer to IHS market reference that the global veterinarian immunodiagnostic market will be $2.1 billion by 2022. Let's assume that the US is probably about half of that market, or $1 billion by 2022. Next, assume that Truforma captures about 10 to 15% of the market. I don't think this is unrealistic, being that we're going to be first to market with Truforma as part of the Zomedica's diagnostic platform, or $101 million to $157 million annual. Eventually, it will expand overseas. So now it's saying at 10x sales, Zomedica is worth about $1.5 billion. Now, if you take a look at the cash balance that's currently in the books, you add that $277 million on board. Right now, we're talking about a company that could be valued at $1.85 billion. Now, if we analyze Zom stock, right now it's worth $1.96 per share. Well, as the time this article is written anyway. And it says on the high note, with 10% of the global market shares and a 15 times sales multiple, the value is $3.15 billion. So if you add that to the $277.5 million, then the company's worth $3,427 million, or $3.61 per share. So to really put this into conception for you, they basically say that the Zom stock will be worth somewhere between $1.96 to $3.61, depending on how well the sales go. Therefore, the Zom stock is worth somewhere between $1.96 to $3.61, depending on its sales price. This represents a potential gain for as much as 64% from today's price of $2.20. So this is important because even if you do the fundamental analysis, you'll see that just based on the potential revenue growth and the potential market share that we can capture, if we just look at 15% of capturing in the market, the company will be worth really an appreciation off of today's pricing. So a lot of people are skeptical, saying, well, Zomedica is not worth what it is today. Well, if we're kind of conservative and we say, okay, 15% of the market share will be grabbed up by Zomedica, $3.61 share price is pretty realistic. I'd like to remind you that this video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Full disclaimer in the description below. In investing, there are a few things that are guaranteed. The only thing guaranteed is grabbing your free stocks by opening up your free stock trading account with Webull. Details in the description below. Now, this article says that Zomedica, which develops point-of-care diagnostic platforms for cats and dogs, which was an obscure penny stock not long ago, but at the start of the year, the shares were going to overdrive. Zom stock went from 23 cents to a high of $2.90. It's true that things have calmed down during the past couple of weeks. Zom stock is now a little more than $2, yet the valuation is certainly outsized, with the market capitalization being a hefty $2 billion. During this run-up, there hasn't been much news. Keep in mind that the company reported its latest earnings last year. But instead, a key driver for Zom stock has been Reddit's powerful forum, Wall Street Bets. The general strategy has been to target heavily shorted stocks like GameStop and AMC Entertainment. The result is that they have seen huge gains. Okay, I don't think this stock run-up was strictly because of Reddit's Wall Street Bets. But there has been a lot of attention on this stock, I think, recently because it has been brought to the surface. And a lot of people realize that there's a real tangible product here. This is a penny stock that literally has a product that has application in the real world. And this is something we don't see very often. And I think they're saying that the valuation is a little outsized. I feel like it's appropriate because if you think about it, right now we're really pricing in appreciation. We're pricing in the fact that Truforma will work, it will be effective, it will be a great point of care instrument, a diagnostic instrument for veterinarians all across this country. And we're pricing that in ahead of time. So I don't think it's too far-fetched. Now, this article is highlighting a few benefits of Truforma, being that the complete control over the testing process, all the control is done in-house with the veterinarian's office. Clinical decisions are made faster, which means treatments can begin sooner. Very important. This is going to make pet owners very happy. Pet owners that come back time and time again will cause a boom in the veterinarian's practice, means better word of mouth when it comes to promoting Truforma through word of mouth to other veterinarians. It's all the same circle. Now, minimal training, this is important. They don't need to go back to school to learn how to use the Truforma product. And the device is about the size of a shoebox and weighs only 7 pounds. Very important, especially for an office that's limited on space. The fact that you can pack this away in a corner and forget about it when it's not in use and it respects the space of the office. This is extremely important. Now, speaking of important things, one of the most important things, and I can't impress upon this enough, that you can do today that can make a definitive difference in your trading and your buying habits is smashing that like button for smashing wealth. Now, a lot of people are asking me what my price target on Truforma is towards the end of March. And I feel that Truforma, with the launch coming at the end of March, we'll start to see this stock price go to $3 to $4 and eventually $5 towards the end of this month. And I feel the momentum and the excitement building towards the launch of Truforma will cause us to look towards that $5 price target. And that's what I'm expecting personally. And I do feel that based upon Truforma's adoption throughout the veterinarian network, the amount of veterinarians that actually take the product, use the product, start talking about the product, and the effectiveness of the product in actually providing that diagnostic platform being effective at diagnosing and allowing veterinarians to diagnose at a very fast pace in office will really have a lot to do with where that $5 price point grows to after, if it gets to that $6 to $7 to $8 price mark. But I do see it going to $5 just based on momentum, just based on all of the excitement going towards that Truforma launch, and based on how Truforma actually performs will really dictate whether it goes up and up and up or if it starts to fall. Because if articles start coming out that Truforma isn't what we thought it was, veterinarians aren't adopting it, they don't think it's a great product, then we're going to see a rapid fall in that share price. So there's really a lot riding on this month, and we're less than 30 days out from knowing what's going to happen. And like I said, it's just my own personal opinion. This is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. This full disclaimer in the description below. But I mean, based on my personal opinion, I really feel that this will go to $5 and higher based on Truforma's actual success. I will be releasing future videos, which will be full breakdowns of Zomedica news. If you want access to that, make sure to smash that subscribe button. And more importantly, turn on the notification bell to be alerted when I drop that video. While you wait for that video, make sure to check out this video that I just released where I did a deep dive into the major facts that you probably didn't know about Zomedica. You can also join my mailing list by going to smashingwealth.com, link in the description below. If you've bought Zomedica stock, let me know down below in the description section. Until next time, have a smashing day.